I've bought this van behind us with one aim, and that is to convert it into the ultimate adventure vehicle. We are going to fully convert this panel van into the ultimate adventure vehicle. Come and follow us on this long journey, taking it from a panel van to the best van on the market, fully built here at FWX, with a couple of little hidden secrets involved as well. Let's get around the side door to see what we've got in there. We've ripped the wheel arch paneling off just to get some dims for upstairs. Dims, I mean dimensions. What do we want to achieve out of a short wheelbase? Maximum possible. I want to do a total different layout. I want 2 single seats that move up and down, but not your standard rock and roll bed seats. We're going to then put our benchy seats on the rail systems to move up and down. In the middle of that, there's going to be an alleyway where I want to store 2 mountain bikes. That's going to fully slide out the back door, so you've got easy access to get them in and out of the vehicle. We're going to be whacking it with solar panels. I want to make it sort of off-grid, but not fully dependable, if you know what I mean. We want to make sure we've got the chargers in there, coolie box, stuff like that for weekend adventures on the mountain bike or out with the family traveling. But also, this is going to be the new parts vehicle. I need to have storage in the back. We're going to be able to unmount them seats to make us have a full van if we need to, but also mainly we're going to have a big load space at the rear because we're going to use them benchy seats, which you'll see along the build why we're using them. So you've heard the plans. Let's get upstairs, do some drawings, get on the what we call it, the thinking table. We're going to go at the thinking table and draft out that floor plan. That is the first step, because without that we don't know where we're going to put stuff. And if it's not going to work because of key measurements, we're going to have to change the whole design. But we're not going to do that because we can't do anything here, and we will do anything. So meet us upstairs where we're going to start drafting out the initial plans for this short wheelbase Transit Custom. So we're in the thinking chair back upstairs here. Right, floor plan. Basic floor plan, short wheelbase, space is a premium. What we're going to look to do is create 2 benchy singles, which will roughly mount around about there. That'll be 600 deep. The bases on these are going to be 300 wide, but the actual seat is going to be 550 wide. These will extend into a bed to make a 1200mm long bed, which will come forward this way to touch the back of the front seats, drivers and passengers. So we're going to have 2 of them. Now what we want to do is build a unique floor plan, incorporating our RS rail system. So there's going to be 2 tracks either side. So there's going to be 1 track from the front of the benchy back, and then there's going to be a second track going in line with the wheel arch. That is going to be on the same side from there to there. So technically there's going to be 4 tracks now. Where's Neil Buchanan when you need him? The Art Attack hero. Anyway, so there's going to be 2 tracks like that. This is going to enable the benchy to then move from that fixed position all the way to the rear of the van, just in case you want anything up front or you want to be sitting further back. These benches as well will be able to get removed, so you can take them out to give you a bigger floor space if needed. In the middle, I wanted to leave roughly, if these are 550 wide, the width of the Transit should leave roughly 550 in the middle. There's an alleyway, and in there we're going to design around about a 1.2 metre loading tray on 100% extension runners that lock in. That's going to mount 2 downhill mountain bikes to be stored in there safely and securely. Them will then extract through the rear of the vehicle to then offload and unload. So the setup's going to be 2 single seats that move up and down, a tray to mount 2 mountain bikes to come out the rear of the vehicle to load easily and unload easily. This then can make 2 very small single beds, or we can then adapt an infill panel which will give you a 1.2 metre wide bed by 1700 or 1.7 metre wide bed. So technically you can still sleep in here, still get the storage you need, get your bikes in, still carry 2 people. We could look to put a pop top on this, but we're not going to. I have got a pop top roof box which I'm not going to use because I want to try and do a 400 to 600 watt solar kit on the top, so it's sort of off grid as well, which will go into the electronics later on down the line. But before we move any further, I've got to make sure all these measurements are going to work and basically rebuild what we've already got into a smaller stage, incorporating our RS system and our benchy together, but technically making 2 units that's mounted onto 1 solid floor pan that'll look the same shape as the Transit Custom. Just remember, in the short wheelbase Transit Custom, the max width you've got about 1700 and the max length you've got 2400 millimeters, give or take 50 mil, depending where your bulkhead's going to start and finish, and the back doors. So that's the size we've got to work with, and we want 2 mountain bikes, 2 chairs that slide up and down the vehicle and can be removed, that then slide down into make a sofa or a small bed. Then we're going to have the storage side of things, then we've got battery storage, then the battery management and some USB outlets for charging. Then it's going to have a couple of windows in. That is going to be the rough breakdown of this small wheelbase 2019 Transit Custom. So next stage we should have a more clear vision of what I've just roughly drawn out there, and hopefully I'll have some measurements to confirm and then give it the thumbs up to cut the first prototype out. So that's my plan. I've got to ask the people downstairs and Paul if they want to join this journey with us, because I do have some random ideas. Most of them do work, most of them are sitting behind us here and they've become very popular products, but we need to get their opinion on it, see if them think it's going to work, because them do manufacture these all day. I might design them, but I'm not hands-on as much as I used to be, so I need to make sure that my measurements that I want to achieve are going to fit within the parameters of all the materials I've got, the machinery and the capabilities. I'm sure Paul will have a very interesting opinion on this. They'll probably want to scrap the whole lot, but fingers crossed it's a goer. Outside is the short wheelbase orange Transit. I want to put in it 2 single benches on rails.
Right, okay.
Right, so that is the plan. This is the back of the van, that's the front of the van, that's the bulkhead, front seats. The benches are going to predominantly live here. They're going to be 550 mil wide with a base width of 300. I'm not really looking at using these as beds, right? Because if need be, we've got the pop top tent box to go on top. This one could be used as a bed. This is mainly going to be used for travelling people and having more storage in the rear and a decent width alleyway down the centre. What
so behind the driver is going to have a swivel, yeah, so you at least want to have your bed there.
Or behind the passenger.
Behind the passenger.
I don't want to do the driver's swivel because you've got to do a flyaway handbrake, all the rest of it. I don't want to mess on with that. Everything we do here seems to be an adaptation or evolution of products. So this time we're going to make the benchy on a rail. What I want to do though is, like we do with the ID Buzz, is make the floor pan the full floor. So all this will be welded in to go in, and I want to bond it instead of drill holes. I want to bond the centre and use the original fixing points to bolt it down in. I don't want to drill anything. I just want to put it straight in, bang. Rails are already welded in, finished. Because my idea with this is, so we're going to have 2 550 mil single seat benches that'll fold down to do a 1200 long bed. The idea is you can have, there's not going to be much gap here at the sliding door. It's going to be 600 mil from the back seat to the front of that seat, which is enough to get in and out of. What you're going to have here is all this space. You know what I mean? You're going to have quite a lot of the van back. If you want to, slap it back. The centre part, I want to then make a bike tray system with around about 1 metre runner on it. So it'll have 100% extension, so they'll come out the back of the van 1 metre and put the bikes in. Have bikes in the centre and 2 single seats. So technically it's built as an adventure vehicle. You could put these 2 beds down and put an infill in between that 600 gap, and you're going to have a 1200 by 1700 bed. The Transits are really good vans because they're wide, but you've still only got that 2400 millimetre load space in the rear. So we need to try and use that as much as we can. That is my plan. For Transit Custom, double benches on rails plus bikes adventure vehicle. That's what I want to build. With its own fully fixed floor pan. On top of that roof, I'm aiming to try and have 600 watts of solar energy on it. I don't want to put a pop top roof on. Yes, there's more, you've got more height and stuff, but this ain't going to be used to cook in and walk around in. It's literally you travel in, charge your gear up, have a coffee, keep your bikes in, secure them. I think if we can get this in, which my basic measurements work out the can, it'll be quite good, like. But we need to design the floor. I want you to go on your drawing software and basically I want to try and draw as detailed as I possible and bench that with the seat on. I would like that done, just so we can get we'll regroup when you've done that, pretty sharpish, and we'll see how it looks like a little bit more 3D like. So try and make it look quite fancy in around about 2 minutes time. Alright, new concept, there you go. We're happy with the layout. I've been given the go ahead by Beth and Paul to say that the concept that we're working on for the seat bed system is a goer. But before anything happens, we need to get inside the van, strip everything out. We also need to sound deaden the panels that are not having windows. Then we'll have to pack some insulation into the cavities to keep everything warm. I've just opened this from last night and we had a frost and it's like a fridge in there. So preparation on the insulation is very important, because if not, you're gonna have a really, really cold rear end and you don't want that. So if you get your preparation done right at the start, find out where your windows are going, then you can get your sound deadening panels on to take any noise out, and then you can start packing cavities like this with a little bit of wadding. General insulation. People do use rock wool. You can get specialised camper stuff which is more hygienic, flame retardant, all the rest of it. Today's goal is all the panels off, get them labelled up, keep all the fixings so we've got them, clean everything down, and then apply the sound deadening, which I'll show you what the difference is of why you need to apply that so you don't have a tinny van when everything's finished. Stay tuned and watch us through this process. Very simple. All you need is a screwdriver, drill driver, whip the screws out, get the panels off. I've labelled them up because I will be reusing some of them as templates. I'll reuse them as they are, and I don't want to forget where they go. Yes, I could spend time refitting them, but I don't want to do it. Always label stuff up, which I've done. Bag stuff up. That there is a 2-second job, and it does make life easier moving throughout the builds. I have built a few vans before in the past. I've learned all the wrong ways, and I still haven't learned all the right ways, but I have made some big mistakes that's cost us money and time. So I should have some hints and tips on the way. I don't know everything. You out there know a lot more than me, but we're going to build this together and it's going to look absolutely amazing and look a little bit different to your normal camper van, day van layout spec. Stay tuned, let's get the panels whipped off. Just like that. Is there another one behind? Oh, look at that. Been done properly. There's my brand new panels. Save them for later. They are a bit of a nightmare. You get the clips out, I hate them. You get bored after about one, popping them out and then pulling them out. Yes, there is specialised tools on the market for it. We don't have one. We did have a set of trim tools. I was going to order them, but I haven't. Someone's pinched them, and I know who. So we're going to reuse these panels, I think, because they're brand new, because they've been hidden up since new. Plan is, because we can talk roughly about what we've got spec for the van. Sliding window in here with a window pod from Van Shades. Same on the passenger side. Sliding window, window pod by Van Shades. It's not sponsored. And then in here, from Caravan, they do a fitted pod that goes in with loads of shelves, so it's like an ABS moulded pod that clips in. So you've got various shelves, which I think will be handy to have there instead of just boarding it off. They're about 170 quid. Pretty neat, to be honest, like 170 quid for a bit of plastic, yeah, but it covers all that space. That's dead space behind there. I have done something similar before, but if I can buy something that's moulded and factory sort of fitted, we're going to get one of them and clip it straight in. It looks a good bit of kit. But we're just going to carry on getting these outer panels off because we're not going to use them. And then will result into getting the sound deadening. We've got this by a company off Amazon. We'll go into that later on. It's all pretty spec the same. I'll go through a couple of good features and what you should look for. But as it goes, this is the basics. This is a stage anyone can do to prepare the van. Anyone, if you've ever picked up a standing knife before or a screwdriver or a drill, anyone can remove the panels and insulate a van. It's not hard. It's simple stuff. I reckon my 9-year-old daughter could be in here doing it. Taking the screws off, whacking some wadding in, sticking some stickers on. Very easy. And there's a couple of things as well I will tell you along the line that you might go, really, but there's a couple of little tips I'll tell you that might be a surprise. But I'm going to carry on now because I could talk all day and we'll get nothing done. Sound deadening time. We are going to get the sound deadening out the box. I've not used this before. It's got really good feedback and reviews on Amazon. Dead quiet. We'll see how dead quiet it is, but this is 1.9 millimeters thick sound deadening. You know when you've got a good sound deadening because it's got a bit of weight to it. So if you get a box of 20 sheets, it should have a bit of weight to it. Very easy, peel it off, stick it on. You can cut it with a standing knife, you can cut it with scissors if you want, but I use a standing knife because you can change the blade out a bit more. But in this van, I've noticed something. Follow us in. Up here, because they've painted over it, they've put 2 strips of sound deadening. On this side, they haven't, and the rest of it, they haven't. There is a massive difference. If I tap that, it's a dull tapping noise. You tap this, very echoey. The weight of that pad sticking on there stiffens the plate up, or the panel. This stuff is very thin. Van skins are very thin. It's made of the same sort of skin all over. Even the floor is made from the same sort of thickness. It's just got the ribs in. That gives it its stiffness when it's then welded onto the chassis rails and stuff like that. But what we're going to do, obviously we're not doing that because that's been done. We are going to work our way around the van on the panels we're not touching. We've already disclosed that we're going to be putting windows in these 2 sides. The rest of it where we can get in, or there's a big area of metal, we are going to be sticking this sound deadening plate to it. Probably going to start off with this window aperture in here. We're going to stick some on there, tune back in once we've stuck it on to see what the difference is. I'll do one panel first and then we'll tap it and see if there's a difference. That's the difference that makes. People think you've got to fill it all in here, you don't. That's probably a bit too much. You could have got away with maybe that much. All you're doing is putting a different weight on the panel to stop it from vibrating and flexing and stuff like that. That's all you're doing. Easy, peel it off, stick it on. We're going to do this one next because that's another full sheet. Then we'll need to trim a little bit off for that because that's a little bit smaller. So hopefully very soon we're going to sound deaden the whole van. We don't need to do this. This is coming out. But we're going to work our way down. If we can get little bits in here, we will do. Same for that, same for that, same for that, same for that. And back around there and also in there. Obviously that's a big area as well. You will get noise from there. So we are going to be putting it on there as well. Hopefully there's enough. I've got 20 sheets in this pack. I think the pack was about 39 quid, something like that. Got really good reviews. Previous vans I've done, I have used other stuff. There's a load of people out there, just as there is pop top roofs, rock and roll beds, insulation, carpet floor and fridges, all the rest of it. There is some crap stuff out there, I'm not gonna lie. But the majority of it, get the reviews, make sure someone's tried and tested it before, and it will do what you need it to do. With this stuff, it's about a weight. Between 1.7, 2 mil thick, a decent weight to it. That is gonna stop any vibrations in the van on these bigger, larger panels. So yeah, as easy as that. Stick and go. I'm enjoying it because I used to like put my stickers in my football boot when I was younger. So it's a bit like that, but you don't have to get in the square. You can just slap it on. But when I want to jump outside, we might have to cut this one down because I think it's going to be too big. But we're going to take that noise out of it. Nice dull sound. Nice tin sound. We're going to get rid of that tin sound. That will be the last one we're going to do. Tune back in when we put our last square on, and we'll show you everywhere that we've sound deadened in this short wheelbase. Standard custom. So that full pack has done this van. I could have used a little bit more. It doesn't have to look like it's all going to get covered up at the end of the day. But we've got our last strip to go on. We've done this one, moving on to this one. This one is a noisy panel. So we're going to put the last panel on, and that is the sound deadening done. Wheel arches have got a strip on each. They're going to get insulated and then carpeted. Tacked on the roof, we're just going to roller it on. Everything needs to be rolled on with this. You want to squash it on, but that is quiet now. We've gone inside the little panels there, little squares. That's just taking all the noise off the big outer panel. Same for in there. Obviously the back end's having no windows in. The window panel's being left empty because they're getting cut out. Next stage, start thinking of electrics. So we're going to get these plastic panels off because that's where some electrics are going to run through. And then once they're off, we will start talking about the electric side of things, because even though at early stages of the conversion, you need to start pulling wires through quick. You don't want to be putting insulation in here, trying to pull wires in, because then you're going to start pulling all the insulation out. So let's start prepping where lights are going, fixings. We're not going over the top of this, not going to have cookers in and microwaves, PowerPoints, that's about it really. A couple of different lights, but the main thing is USB, USB-C that everyone relies on these days. But we're going to put all the cables in as much as we can, and then we'll move on to the window stage, depending on what parts come in stock at the time. But as it stands, panelling's off. We've kept some of the panelling to reuse and reuse as templates. Sound deadening are on all the panels. We're now going to move on to electric prepping and just getting some ideas of where we want stuff. Right, so I've ordered some external parts for this short wheelbase Transit Custom. Luckily enough, the warehouse is only 7 miles away from where we are. We're going to get into the review on this. So I've jumped in the Transit to do a little bit of a review on it, because I haven't drove it that far. So we're going to give it a little run out, not far, see what I think of it. But we're only going 7 miles, heading over to Nottingham Way, little town called Huthwaite. So we're going to head over there, pick up side steps to fit the sport version, because there's a difference. Rear spoiler pre-painted to go on once we've had the new decals put on, and then roof rails. Get the roof rails on. So they're the three items we're picking up today. We've pre-ordered the rest of the stuff that's going to get delivered to us from different people. We've also put the order in this afternoon for the van shades, which is great. That's going to be two-week lead time, but we will be visiting Jack and his team up in Barnsley at the van shades warehouse to collect them, and then we'll bring them back to fit them. But it is the 185 brake horsepower version, so more powerful version. It is the auto box, short wheelbase. It's very easy to park and move about. It's also got rear view camera, DAB, all the rest of that stuff. Pretty specced up, to be honest. It's even got heated front seats, which is really good. But I've never drove an auto Transit before. They've all been manual, and the first sort of views of this is it's very nice. It's very tight to drive. This has only done 40,000 miles, but it has been running as such, so it's not a brand new vehicle, but it is a very nice drive. It is like driving a car, and with it being short wheelbase, you can just throw it in and out of parking spaces, easy to reverse, all the rest of it, and it's got a good turn circle, which is really good. But it is quite powerful, which I like. I could knock it down a bit by saying the gearbox has got a bit of lag. If there is people out there who can tune these very well, it could do with a bit of a remap on the gearbox and the ECU itself, just to make it a bit more punchier. But it is very quick for a van. Yes, it's empty. We're not going to be putting vast amount of weight in it, so it's still going to have a bit of punch coming out the junctions and whatnot. But as far as it is, I think I love it, like, to be honest. And I've drove some vans. I've drove some really bad vans and some really good vans, and this is up there. It's really good. Obviously this is going to be our new vehicle for parts, for me, ferrying kids about, parts about, everything else. But it's going to have a bit of a spin-off, which we have said, and it's going to be really good. So overall, if I had to give this out of 5, I reckon this is a solid 4, like, for a van. And I know vans come far and few between, really good ones, really bad ones. This is a really good one, and I'm really happy with it. And we've just started converting it, so when we're finished with it, it's going to be even better. So follow the journey to see what this looks like in a few weeks. So we're just here now, Trade Van Accessories. I'll let you into a little secret. I did place the order for this online, didn't realise where it was. So then they were nice enough to look at our address and go, oh, he's only 7 miles away, so phone him and then he can come down and pick them up. And that's exactly what we've done this morning. So we've agreed that they've got the order ready. We're here now, and hopefully everything's there. and it fits. Luckily enough, if it doesn't fit, I've only got 7 miles to come bring it back. So let's go and find out what we've got. Recap: roof rails ×2, side steps to fit the Sport ×2, rear spoiler for the split doors at the back, pre-painted in glow orange ×1. Let's go. So we're at Trade Van Accessories up in Nottingham. They've sorted us out with all the gear that we've just listed: running boards, roof rails, and pre-painted roof spoiler. We are going to be getting these on in stages, not all at once. I'm very impatient. If I was allowed, I'd put them all on overnight, but we're going to take our time, do stage by stage, and show you how easy it is to get the roof rails on, get the running boards on, and mount that rear spoiler as well. Hopefully the paint code is a good match, which I'm pretty sure it will be. But that is it. Guys are here sorting this out within 24 hours. Let's get back to the workshop. Right, we're back with some of the exterior styling stuff that we've just talked about, but I want to give you a little rundown of what I've got in my head of the visuals of this. We're going to look to get the overland sort of off-road rugged tyre and wheel packaged. We'll want the roof rails on the roof to mount the solar panels. We then want the side steps. With transits, there's not a side step. In your T6s, transporters, there's a deep well there. This is a pure flat bed in it. So when my kids are getting in and out, I want the running boards just so there's a little bit of a step up. And it'll look a bit cool as well. So we've got them to put on. We've got the spoiler that's going on the back, which is a 2-piece set. We're getting these redone. So we're going to get these peeled off and then get them bonded on left and right. Hopefully, when we open the box, it's pretty much the same colour as this burnt orange. So it's a direct fit, no paint required. Other little bits, obviously the windows are going to go in each side. Both of them are going to have sliding windows. Both of them are going to have the window pod systems in with the blinds. Outside, that's pretty much it. We are going to change the sticker pack up a little bit, keeping it factory fitted with our own little twist on it as well, which will be one of the end jobs I would have thought to get installed. And then it'll have a nice polish of our friends over the road, so it'll be detailed, nicely cleaned with a bit of protection on as well. So we all need protection on our vehicles. Other than that, that's the outside. So run down, roof rails, side windows, window pods, rear spoiler, running boards, new wheels, off-road tyres, and a sticker pack to finish it all off. But yeah, I think the vision is going to look really well. It's hard to see at the moment because it's technically just a panel van. Hopefully in the next few weeks it'll start transforming and you're going to start liking it. So yeah, follow us on the journey. Don't give up yet, there's still a long way to go, but I promise you it'll look nice.